You are about to see a narrative writing lesson at the end of a kindergarten year.
Wow, when I asked you to turn and talk to your partner about what you had just written about yesterday, I noticed that you were talking a lot. So I think as almost first graders, end of kindergartners, you have a lot to write about. And that's actually what I want to talk with you today about is this. Our learning target, which maybe you can't read, I'll read it for you, is when I don't know what to write, how do I use my storyboard to help me? Because you're getting to the point now where you're writing about what happened in the beginning of your story and about what happened at the end. Is that right? Are you using two boxes like this?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to tell you about the storyboard that I quickly sketched this morning. Last Sunday, I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. And I'm going to show you what I put up here. So here's me and my mom and dad, and we're at Panda Express, and we ate lunch, and we had some nice stir fry, and then we left to go to Target. And when we got there, my dad realized that he couldn't find his hat. And so I was like a detective. I went back and looked in the car, and then I actually went back to the restaurant, and you know where his hat was? Under the table. He'd taken it off and left it there. And the reason why I wanted to write this story was because to him, when I gave him back his hat, he said, "Oh, thank you, that's my favorite hat." So he was very sad that he couldn't find it. So it was an important thing that I was a detective and went back and found it for him. So that's my story, but I have to have all of that information and decide, how am I going to write that down? And that's where I'm going to use my storyboard to help me. So, knowing that's my whole story, I always have to think about, how do I start? How do you start your stories? Talk to your partner. What do you think about before you even start writing?
You think about what you're going to write.
Who's your partner? Right here. All right, turn and face me again. You know what I heard somebody saying? Turn and face the front, guys. Gentleman in the back. Thank you. I heard somebody say they think about their picture, and that's exactly why you do your sketch. So I'm going to think about my picture here. And the important thing is that I was with my mom and dad and that we were at Panda Express eating. So that's what I'm going to say. I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. Or I had lunch with my mom and dad at Panda Express. That's kind of long though, isn't it? I think I'm going to say, I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. Okay? That's going to be my first sentence. Let's see. Everyone knows how to spell I, right? Yeah. I went. Is that another word that you know? You can help me. W-E. I went, you know this word too, to. T-O. Wow. I went to Panda. And I went to Panda Express. What would you do with that word? Express. Should we say it? Express. I hear some S's in there too, yep. I'm not sure if I know how to spell that, so I'm going to circle it. I went to Panda Express. Oh, and see, now I have to think about my picture. I've got Panda Express, but I wanted to talk about who I was with. So I used my storyboard to think about, oh yeah, it was me and my mom and dad. I went to Panda Express with my mom, and I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. So now I've written about being at Panda Express. I wrote about me. Oh, this was me and my mom and dad, right? Now what? How can I use my storyboard to help me think about what to write next? What else do you see in my storyboard up here? Tell your partner, what else did I draw in my storyboard? Okay, turn and face me again. 3, 2, 1. Whoa, you used my storyboard to help me. I heard many people saying that I had lunch because I haven't written about the food yet. Do you want to know what we had for lunch? Should I just say that we had lunch, or should I tell you as the reader what we had? What would be more interesting? You want to know what I had?
Yeah.
Fried rice. So that's what I'm going to put next. I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. Oh, I needed to end it, didn't I? We had fried rice for lunch. We, you know that, right? Can you help me? We had, I bet many of you know this one too. Can you help me? Wow. We had fried. Fried, yeah. We had fried rice. My printing's terrible. We had fried rice. Should I tell people that it was for lunch? Let's see, do I have this in my storyboard that it's for lunch? It's hard to draw lunch though, isn't it?
Yes.
But I did talk about the fried rice. We had fried rice, but I think I want people to know that it was lunchtime, so I'm going to add that. For lunch. Now let's see. Have I put everything in? Have I written about everything that's in my first storyboard?
Yeah.
What didn't I write about yet? What haven't I checked off?
You didn't check out where your dad left his hat.
I put it in there, but I'm not sure I should write about it yet. Yeah, that's maybe not the best thing to put it in there, but you're right. That's the key part of the story, is that my dad left his hat there. But I'm going to use my next storyboard to help me think about what else I want to tell. We went to Target. My dad knew he didn't have his hat. I went back and looked in the car, and then I went back to the restaurant and found it under the table. So, tell your partner what I just did. How did I use this storyboard to help me think about what else to write? Turn back and face me, please. 3, 2, 1. I think everyone's more interested in how I found the hat than how I used the storyboard. But if you notice what I did, I was actually looking at and kind of pointing to the things in my storyboard because I want to make sure I'm writing about the important parts of the story. And especially if I don't know what to write about, I look at my storyboard. That's why you draw your storyboard. So I went to Panda Express with my mom and dad. We had fried rice for lunch. Do you think it's important to say that we went to Target? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Not such an important part, okay? Do you think it's important to say that my dad couldn't find his hat? Is that an important part of my story? Okay. Do you think it's important to say that I looked in the car and couldn't find it? Is it super important that I say I went back to the restaurant and there it was under the table? Okay. The two most important parts that you were telling me was that my dad couldn't find his hat and that I went back to the restaurant to find it. So I think those are the two sentences I'm going to write about my second box. Okay. Are you telling them to go to another line, or do you just keep writing? Just keep writing. Okay. All right. So my dad couldn't find his hat. You know my, right? Help me. My dad couldn't. Ooh. Couldn't. Couldn't. Yeah, I might have to check that one later. My dad couldn't find his I am wondering though, do you ever think about using words that are, we call them descriptive words. They tell you something about something. Remember I told you that my dad was so excited when I found his hat because it was his favorite hat. Do you think that would tell the reader more about that hat? Why it was important to him? Thumbs up. You think I should write favorite? Do you think I should write his best hat?
I think favorite.
Is favorite a good thing to say? Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to say that. My dad couldn't find his favorite. Have to look that one up too. And then hat, you already helped me with hat. My dad couldn't find his favorite hat. I'm going to use my storyboard for my last sentence again. You told me that the most important part was that I went back to the restaurant and found it
under the table.
Okay. So I'm going to end this with, I found my dad's hat under the table. I went back to the restaurant and found my dad's hat under the table. Tell your partner, how should I write this last sentence? How would you write it?
My dad.
Turn and face me again. Wow. I heard somebody even say, I checked under the table. You're using some really interesting words. Very interesting language. Okay, my dad couldn't find his favorite hat. I checked. I went back to the restaurant and checked under the table and found it. Okay. I went, we already know went. N-T, I went back. I went back to the restaurant. Could be. Restaurant. Do you ever try to spell words that you don't know how to spell? Yeah. Good for you. Don't just spell all the words you know. Try to stretch out those long ones. I like that you do that as writers. I went back to the restaurant and checked. I love that word. Checked. Checked. And checked under the table. Okay, so here's me. Here I went back to the restaurant. Here's me. I checked under the table. Oh, here is a table. And I found it. Should I just end it like that? I found it? Yeah. Would that be a good ending?
Yes.
I found it. I found. Do you want me to say it or my dad's hat?
It.
How many people want it? How many people think my dad's hat would be better? I can just do it.
Dad's favorite hat.
I could do that again too. I found it. And I'm going to use an exclamation mark because it was a surprise and it was very important to him that I found his hat. So, again, how did I use my storyboard to help me know what to write next? Talk to somebody, talk to your partner. What did I do?
Stretch out the words so
Okay. Turn and face me again. Wow, you have done a super job of talking with your partner and being really serious about the questions I'm asking you to talk about. Very nice job today. The way that my storyboard helps me is I just didn't draw a pretty picture. I'm actually looking at what I drew and kind of checking off as I write about things. Have you ever done that in your writing?
No.
You don't check off things? Okay, even if you don't check it off, just look at what you drew, because what you drew is your story. So sometimes if you're just stuck and you can't think of what to write next, look at your storyboard, because what you drew is really what you're going to write about. So, very nice job today.
You have just watched a narrative writing lesson. Hopefully you noticed the listening target, think aloud, pair, share, and debriefing by the teacher. Remember that this is just one example of a narrative writing lesson.